It all starts with an early phone call one February morning. It's from a friend who lives on the west shore of Bowen Island, or Atl'kitsem, as the Squamish peoples know it. She's really excited. She's watching a pod of orcas right now out her kitchen window. So I scramble to gather my gear, jump in the car, and head for Mount Gardner Dock, the direction the orcas are heading. My heart is racing. In my 30 years on Howe Sound, I've only seen orcas 3 times, and I've never been with them on the water in my kayak. I catch my breath. Up until the 1970s, very little was known about killer whales, and in recent memory, orcas were only very occasional visitors to Howe Sound. But then, about 10 years ago, to everyone's delight, orcas started to regularly visit our waters. And the return of the orcas profoundly affected us all. They inspired us to believe that health was returning to the waters of Howe Sound after 75 years of industrial damage. A half hour goes by as I sit and wait. I am watching an eagle above me in a shoreline fir when I hear the whale. Way offshore, I see a black dorsal fin. Then, a whole pod surfaces. There are at least 5 whales. So I paddle their way. For several minutes, I see nothing. Then, surprise, the orcas are behind me. They've changed course and are now between me and Bowen Island. One is a large male with a huge dorsal fin. There looks to be another adult, a smaller whale, and a baby. Curiously, they look familiar. I know that 2 orca families, known to scientists as T99 and T123, often travel together in Howe Sound. My brother encountered these 2 families last year, when a sea lion that the orcas were hunting sought refuge against the hull of his boat. And I've watched Tim's stunning video many times, and the orcas only meters away trying to dislodge the sea lion. Are these whales some of the same ones? All orca families are led by an adult female, the matriarch. Even the huge males are her children. As I watch, the matriarch, along with an offspring and the small baby, separate from the big male. For a moment, they pause, perhaps listening. Suddenly, things change. The whales reverse course, now swimming hard. Then they change direction again. And then again. Are they chasing something? Perhaps a seal, a sea lion, maybe a porpoise? Meanwhile, the big male has lagged behind. I wonder, could he be the big male of the T123 family, known as Stanley? These mammal-eating orcas, once called transients, are now called Bigg's killer whales. The name honors the Canadian marine biologist Michael Bigg, who recognized unique markings on each whale that allow us to know these orca as individual whales and whale families. In other words, as neighbors. The sky is brightening, a wind from the south has come up, and it's blowing me north toward Gambier Island. The threesome are now far to the west, still swimming hard and changing course often. They are hunting something, perhaps an unlucky harbor porpoise. And the big male too is now to my west, leisurely heading north. He is now way ahead of me and heading for Gambier Island. And I I need to get back to Bowen. It's time to say goodbye. So this may be the new normal in Howe Sound Atl'ka7tsem. The orcas are making a comeback. ORCA, known to the Squamish peoples as yo-yos, have always been a part of Howe Sound Atl'ka7tsem. The Squamish know that in olden times, the quiet waters of northwestern Howe Sound were orca calving grounds. These big killer whales have greatly increased their visits all around the Salish Sea over the last few years, and Howe Sound Atl'ka7tsem is getting its share. Why they are more frequent visitors to the Salish Sea is somewhat unclear. Certainly the very healthy population of their prey, seals and sea lions, is a big draw. But the increase in big killer whales may have another reason. They tend to avoid their salmon-eating kin, the southern resident killer whales. But the southern residents are spending much less time in the Salish Sea these days because their prized prey, Chinook salmon, are in decline. So it may be that as the salmon-eating orca move out of our region, the mammal-eating bigs are moving in. And these whales have done more than visit. They've given us hope. Hope that the waters of Howe Sound Atl'ka7tsem are recovering their health from decades of industrial pollution. And I wonder, what would it take to make these whales truly our neighbors? A neighbor is someone you take interest in, someone you look out for, someone who is an important part of the place we call home. Being a neighbor to these magnificent animals is a title I would like to earn.